So guys, today we are doing something we've never done before. We're doing an international Zoom call, and we're going to be together with Marc Gebauer, who's in Düsseldorf, Germany, Deutschland. And Marc has just opened a brand new watch store. He has some amazing pieces. He's also incredibly stylish. He puts me to shame today. So Marc, are you there?
Yeah, thank you very much for that you give me the possibility that we come together. This is just an awesome thing, and I just want to say that I love your content. I see every video, so this is just great.
Thank you. And I love the little reviews you've done of my videos too. They've been fantastic. And guys, if you haven't seen them, go to Marc's YouTube. It's, what is it, Marc?
If you go on Marc Gebauer, you will see everything.
We'll put all the information into the description. So what have you got to show us today?
So today we have a different approach. Normally you show us the most expensive and most exclusive pieces on the market. With me in Germany, I have also these pieces. Yeah, we will discuss that later. But for this video, the approach is like this. We have a price range, let's say around $3,000 to $5,000, and then the next step is $7,000. And in this price range, there are some watches which are just amazing, hold their value. This is very important for the younger audience, so they can park their money over there. And I will show you these pieces. Yeah, most of them are vintage, and you can see the history in the watches. So this is just awesome.
Well, we're very excited to see it. And I have a big question.
Yeah.
I say big because where you're sat right now, it looks like you're in a castle. Where are you?
Yeah, something like this. I mean, if you see the surrounding here, it's pretty awesome. We are in one special hotel owned by one private collector, and he puts together some stunning decoration.
You missed your opportunity. You should have said, "Oh, this is my office."
Yeah, I thought about this. Yeah, this is the lobby. No, I'm just here for the video. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, let's see what you've got. Let's have a look.
So at first, the most sold watch with me over here is just the regular Datejust in 36 mm. So this is probably from, let's say, the 70s to the 80s. It looks like this. There we have one option with the leather bracelet or with the metal bracelet. And within their collection, there are some small changes. For example, we have here the pen pie hands. This is a nice watch for someone who wants to start and wants to own the first Rolex. It has also the white gold fluted bezel, and shows us in the price range about $3,500 that there are watches which hold their value. And did you own one watch like this in the past?
I actually still have a watch like that.
No, you didn't show us until now.
I don't know where it is, to be quite honest with you, but I do have it. I know I have it. It's a 36 millimeter, if I'm not mistaken. And I know I get the millimeter size wrong all the time because you correct me, and thank you for that. But I believe it's 36 millimeter or very close to it. And the one that I have is on a metal bracelet, but that looks really cool that way.
Yeah, we have the metal bracelet version would be the next suggestion. That is something like this. So this would be the next step, okay? Here you need to pay, let's say, $4,500, but you have one Jubilee bracelet. Back in the day, this one was the most hot bracelet, okay? The Oyster one was not that popular, and the people just love to buy it. It has now a silver dial, and the nice thing about this watch is, now, let me show you something. Also, this is from 1982. And we have everything. We have the box, we have the paper, and also the hang tag. So all this talks a lot history. And if you are fortunate enough to buy this kind of timepiece, I can tell you within the last 2 years, I sold this one for $2,500, and it just doubled the price. So it's interesting to see that also this price range, you have the possibility to buy some good watches.
I know that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't sell watches, I just collect them, but to my knowledge at least, if you have the papers for a current Rolex, it adds, $500, $1,000, potentially a couple of thousand. But if you have the papers for a vintage Rolex, it can double the value just because you have the papers, correct?
Correct, yeah. And there are some small details. For example, if you have the hang tags from that time, for example, something like this is valued at, let's say, $300. These are just some small things, but it adds a lot to the whole story of the watch. And during that time, you know, in the 80s, it was not this kind of big deal, you know, you threw away the warranty papers because you had 2 years warranty, and after that it was just a piece of paper. In nowadays, it's important for all the collectors and the people who wants to buy these watches. Huh? Which one, this is my question to you, which is the oldest watch you have in your collection? Which watch is this?
That's a great question. What is the oldest watch? I believe I have an Omega Seamaster, and it's the one, it's a huge, big, thick, ugly watch. It has 5 buttons on it. It has 3 on one side and 2 on the other. The ones on the left-hand side of the watch, as you look at the watch, they turn the inner bezels and things like that. Has multiple hands. And I got that watch, I think I was like 17 or 18 years of age. Great watch at the time. Right now, not so good.
Ah, okay. And did you, when you say you were 18, so was it the time during your stay in Berlin?
It was, I actually got it just before I got to Berlin. How do you know I was in Berlin?
Yeah, I know. Michael, I know everything about you, okay?
I'm in trouble.
Yeah. So, you got it before, okay. And during your time in Berlin, then you wore this watch most of the time, or?
No. When I got to Berlin, I actually became quite prominent in a recording studio there. It was a very well-known recording studio.
What is the name?
Hansa Tone Studio.
Yes, Hansa Tone Studio, yeah.
Yes, on the Knebitzstraße. At least it was back then. Anyway, I bought myself my first gold Rolex. It was the Day-Date, a 36 millimeter. And it wasn't a sapphire crystal model. It was the model that had the plastic, I guess it's a plastic glass.
Yeah, plastic.
I was so proud of that watch. You have no idea. It was my most expensive possession in the world. Before I actually got that watch, I washed dishes in Germany. Do you know that part too?
This one I heard of, yes.
Oh dear. Well, that's how I got enough money, by saving it and doing crazy things with it, to buy that watch. And when I walked into that studio, I had my Rolex watch on, so I was very happy.
Nice. Yeah, the Day-Date 36mm is currently priced around, let's say, the vintage Day-Date was not very popular during the last, let's say, 4 years in 36mm, but right now the price increased from, let's say, around $10,000 to $13,000. So this is also a good example that currently the watches get just slightly smaller, at least what I can say over here, and this is just the next version of the one you had. This has the sapphire crystal and is from the mid-80s. Yeah, also one nice watch, and currently a lot of ladies love to wear it.
Beautiful watch. I maybe 5 years ago, I actually bought myself a 36 millimeter Day-Date with a diamond bezel and a diamond dial with little red sapphire markers on it, because that was like a memory to me of the first one that I had, the gold one.
So if we move up a little bit in price, for my audience, I always tell them they should keep an eye on the Omega models. So you already told us that you have some, you had one Seamaster. The best model, of course, is the one with the richest history. This is the Moonwatch. We have it over here, Speedmaster in 42mm. Do you know this model?
I do. I absolutely do. I think on the back of it, it has some, I think Apollo something, right?
Yes, correct. There are always some kind of crazy signs. It depends on the version you have. So, for example, this model, you can buy just the regular entry level. This is the one he is having in his hand right now. This is just with a black face. One of the best chronographs in the world. Current price is around $4,500. It depends on which year. It has the sapphire crystal, and if you want to go for the more extraordinary things, there are also some options. For example, over here we have the Alaska project. This one.
What's that?
Yeah, Alaska project. Yeah. This one is really special. It has a huge case, and you can put it over your jacket. And I have to say, this one, no one. Believe it or not, no one wanted to have this one. It lays in our shop back in, we couldn't sell it for over 1 year for around, let's say, $3,500 the price was. And right now, the price shooted up at $12,000. Really collectible piece. So you see, if you have an eye on the smaller, quite unique things, you don't need to wear it all the time with this crazy thing. This is the normal look. Then there are also some possibilities to get yourself a really good investment piece.
I'm glad you took the red thing off it, because I thought that was a fixture of the watch. I didn't know.
No. So this would be the next watch, which you don't see that often. They made just a few of them, 1,464 watches in total with this complete set. And yeah, Omega is also one brand which I love to collect. They put great effort in their watches. They have, beautiful, different design.
Do you have a personal collection and favorites?
Yeah. In Germany, Germany is a little bit difficult. If you show everyone what's your personal collection, everyone's asking for it. That I should, for the past few years, they want to see it. But I have some pieces. We will see also one later, one Patek Philippe Nautilus in the next video. But yeah, I also have one own collection.
Nice.
Yeah. Which one is your watch which you wear the most? Which watch you love at the moment the most?
I wear lots of watches. I kind of rotate them. I kind of match my watches to my outfits best I can.
Yeah.
And I level my watches. If I don't like them, I actually get rid of them, because they don't do any good just sat in the box.
Yeah.
So I try to keep all the watches that I have as kind of favorites. I like them all. I think I'm kind of partial to Jacob. Wearing one today.
Oh,
that's a naughty one.
Yeah.
But perhaps I can show it on your channel, because I can't show it on mine.
Okay. No, it's also very difficult over here. Yeah.
But you know what it does. But it's a very cool watch.
Yeah. Do you know which one blew me away? The De Grisono. I don't know anyone, and you have it in full gold. You have two of them, right? De Grisono, 2 watches.
I have 2.
This is a really extraordinary watch. No one is buying it, but it looks nice.
Well, nobody's buying it because it's outrageously expensive if you buy it new. And when I say outrageous, I mean it's outrageous. But I bought both pieces pre-owned, which I think is a very good way of buying watches. Why spend that extra money if you can obtain the same thing that's just as good for a lot less money? But the watch itself, very classy, ridiculously heavy, and beautiful piece.
Yeah, and right now, let's say all these watches were around $5,000. So if we move up a little bit, I would suggest, or what I just love to show the audience is some undervalued Rolex watches. Some of them you see, but you don't buy them. The great choice of this one, the great example is this Explorer. I don't know if you know this one. It has an orange hand and a second time zone. And believe it or not, no one wants to have it. And that's why back in the day, it was sold under the retail price. But right now, overnight, it went up, and you need currently pay for a new one around 9,000 euros. So you have here the same function like with the GMT Master, which you also have in gold. And this has a second time zone, 42 mm, quite big watch for a reasonable price.
How much does that watch sell for now?
Brand new around $9,000, and second-hand market, you need to pay around a full set, let's say 7 to 8,000. In your personal collection or in your daily life, do you wear, let's say, some basic Rolex watches, or this is not something you wear personally?
I have a Batman, the new Jubilee Batman.
Okay.
I have a watch that Adam likes very much, which I've never worn. It's still sealed. What is that watch, Adam?
So that is your I thought you meant the one with the black diamonds on the hour markers. No, the one I really like is your Deep Sea.
That one, the Deep Sea. Okay, I've never worn it. It's sealed in the box. It's actually sealed in plastic, and it's thick. It's really, really thick. I have that. What else do I have in the Rolex wear? Not that much, actually.
Yeah, and steel. In Germany, the people, they love the steel basic models, and we have almost every single one of them over here. Of course, the Batman is also with us, but what I always prefer is the discontinued model. If you see this one, it's with the oyster bracelet, and currently the market for the Batman, if you bought it in the gray market, went down from 16 to 17 to 12, $13,000, and this is a little bit difficult to happen with the GMT Master, the regular Batman, because it's out of production, and yeah, this one is just one of the owners.
Hey, that you just showed us, how much is that watch selling for?
This one is around $14,000, more expensive than the new one.
It's very interesting. I wouldn't have believed that. I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe it. It's interesting because just a few weeks ago it was radically different. What about the Pepsi, which is basically the same watch with a different color bezel?
Pepsi is different. Pepsi, the color combination before was only existing in white gold case, and of course the old one. I can show you also a vintage one. We have over here the brand new, and they changed the color a little bit of the bezel, so the blue and red got darker in the second generation. This is just a slightly small thing, and the funny thing is, compared to the Batman, the Pepsi is always stronger. So this one, of course, the first week when it came out, we sold it around 20, then it went down to 18, and now it's solid at $16,000 to $17,000. And yeah, it's the higher demanded watch, of course. So the Pepsi is a very good watch, and I have one which I want to show you from. Let me guess. I show you the whole set. So what I have here is also one Pepsi, but it's a little bit older, and we have everything. We have the hang tag, the original booklet, and also the papers. Let me check. This watch is from, also originally delivered in the US, and from 1983. So the paper back in the day looked like this.
Well, nearly 40 years old.
Yeah, yeah. So here you can see that the dial is completely looking different, and also the bezel over the time. During this, you know, if the first owner was in the sun, the whole bezel faded and changed its color, and also the dial changed the way how the color looks. This is, yeah, this happens with the old watches, and you need to pay for this currently around $18,000, depends on the set you have. So the vintage watches are more expensive than the new models, which makes sense, you know.
My question to you is, if you were buying a watch for yourself, or if you were recommending somebody to buy a watch, would you go for the vintage or would you go for the new one?
It depends on, you know, which, if the buyer wants to wear it, you know, in water, or if he wants to do everything with it, then he should take a new one, because it's more durable and you can do anything with it. For example, if you choose a Datejust for the first watch, then, you know, it makes more sense. The vintage watches are more for the, you know, if you have two watches, then the third watch should be a vintage one. It's not very durable, you need to take care of it. Also, the bracelet is a little bit more fragile. So as a first watch, you can do it in certain price ranges, but if it's let's say around 20,000 euro, then you should have some other watches at first. This would be my guess.
That makes a lot of sense. It really does.
Yeah. In your collection, most of the time are more modern pieces, right?
99%, yes.
Yeah.
What else have you got in that box? You seem to have a lot of watches.
Yeah, the Datejust in 41mm with the fluted bezel. If we keep around that price, of course, this the people love with the diamond markers. If someone wants to enter the world of diamonds, this is the first choice. Sells around, let's say, $12,000. And this would be, yeah, the next step then. If he has, let's say, one Datejust around $5,000, then this would be the next choice. And if we then go a little bit higher, then you have, I mean, almost, you can choose between everything, yeah.
This is a really pretty watch. I mean, I could see myself wearing a watch like that. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. But you know which one I love the most? This is the same watch, just with a mother of pearl dial. The list price is more higher, but currently the market price, not that much. So you need to pay in the gray market, same price for the mother of pearl dial than for the diamond dial. And this is just in the sunlight, beautiful. You have the great texture on the dial, and yeah, always great performance.
I actually have a Rolex. I forgot about this one. I need to get it back because it's a very pretty watch. I have the Platinum Masterpiece with a mother of pearl. It's a dark mother of pearl dial, and it's just a
Nice.
beautiful, beautiful watch. Very heavy.
Platinum is the most dense material, so on the wrist it's very heavy and interesting watch. You don't see it that often. The Masterpiece series, the bracelet is also a little bit different, quite unique look. Interesting, yeah. When was the last time you wore it?
Probably 3 or 4 years ago, believe it or not.
You know, when I saw the part 4 of your video about your watch collection, you had a yellow gold Submariner, okay?
Yes.
And yeah. What you're thinking about, let's say, steel and gold models? What is your opinion on?
I actually wouldn't buy a steel and gold because to me, I'd either want steel or gold. And I don't really want, like a mixture between the two. Now, I think that's more because aesthetically to me, that's not pleasing. But I know a lot of people absolutely love that, but it's just not my taste.
Yeah, so I also have a slight problem with it, but I cannot do anything. You know, I sell them quite good. This one is the 43mm. This is the Sea Dweller, the small brother of the one you have still sealed in your home. This is the novelty from last year. 43mm in size and steel gold model. Sells really good. And for someone who doesn't want to spend the amount of full gold model, you know, he can wear this.
So mine, the one that I have is steel. It's just straight steel.
Yeah. The one you have is just full steel and has a 5mm thick sapphire glass, and it's huge and waterproof to 3,900 meters.
That's too deep.
Yeah. So this is just a small selection. Of course, if we now move up in price, you know, the best advice to everyone, which I can give him, is if he can afford a Daytona, this would be the greatest choice around, let's say, 20,000 euro. This is just amazing watch in the lower price, and this holds its value, is just the best investment overall. And do you have some Daytonas in your collection besides the one on the leather bracelet?
I have the rainbow, which is a crazy wild rose gold with all sorts of colors and diamonds. I have the leopard or safari. Do I have another one? I don't think I do. No.
Yeah, the rainbow, you know, it's just incredible that you had the possibility to get this one as a factory set. It's just awesome. We have just the aftermarket version over here. Nice to look at, not comparable, but yeah, the price, of course, is different. Yeah.
That's a beautiful watch too.
Yeah.
And if you held them next to each other, there would be very little difference. I mean, I think the color, the graduation of the sapphires is the biggest giveaway.
Yeah, this and also on the dial, there are also always some small problems. Rolex is, you have to imagine if Rolex is producing one watch with stones all over the watch or on the bezel, the construction of the whole case is different. So if you do it aftermarket, there are always some parts which don't fit, especially on the dial. It has to be a certain thickness. So that's why the cases in most of the time are just slightly bigger. And if you do it aftermarket, you always have the problem that the hands are touching the dial, and it's just pure headache. You know, if you don't do it proper in the aftermarket world, it's very difficult.
So the one that you were just showing us, you're saying might have problems?
No. This one is working fine, but yeah, no, this one is working fine. But if you sometimes see that the dials are not 100% accurate, and we also had with the different company we had a lot of problems of the dial thickness, and then you need to put a lot of effort in it that it works. But this one we tested, and it runs. Yeah, it runs. So within the different price ranges, this is what I can show you right now. We had a little talk about Omega watches. We had over here the basic steel models, and this is the choice in the lower end.
I have one question for you. what is the difference between the market in Europe for these types of watches versus the USA? Is it similar, or is there a better place to?
This is a very good question. So you have a lot of strong fairs in the US. There's one in Miami for secondhand and gray market dealers, and also one in Las Vegas. Great shows, and I have to say there are some differences. For example, in the US, you can always buy Day-Date 41, the Day-Date 2 models, and also Day-Date 40mm. The prices are just ridiculously good for us Germans, okay? Some watches over Euro in the US, the prices we can never reach. It's really cheap. The European market on steel models is always very strong. And yeah, this is my experience. So the gold models you can buy in the US for a great price. For steel models, it's almost the same. But right now, in the current market we are in, I see that the people from America tend to sell their goods more faster. So in Germany, we hold on to everything. If, you know, there must be something major that we sell our, let's say, the Porsche or the watch. And in the US, it's more dynamic. This is my experience.
Well, I have one last question for you before we end the video. The coronavirus. What are your thoughts on how in Europe, I mean, I can give you my thoughts in the US, but in Europe, how is it going to affect the values of watches? Will people buy more of them because they never know what's coming in life, or will they be shy and save money? What are your thoughts on that?
Great. This is a great question. When I started the business, or when I left my old job, it was one of the first day of the lockdown. Okay, so this was also what always sticks in my mind. What's happening to the prices? Then I got some infos from dealers, and they said in Hong Kong the prices went down a lot. Okay. They were the time ahead of us. They had the lockdowns 2 months or so. And then I thought, okay, the more expensive watches go down in value. But at the end, I have to tell you one thing. I sell a lot of watches right now, and it doesn't affect the market huge. So all these watches we are talking about right now, let's say the prices changed around 10% from January to now. Maybe on the Datejust models, they lost, let's say, 700 euro. But overall, right now, it's more recovering. And if I want to buy new watches for my stock, I cannot get the price 2 weeks ago. So I would say in perspective, people for sure will buy more watches. Also of the current situation, if you have a lot of money in the bank account, here in Germany, for example, you need to pay let's say a certain percentage every year to the bank. So if you have more than, let's say, 500,000 euro, it doesn't make sense to keep it on the bank. And yeah, what should the people buy? I mean, cars are not easy to handle. Watches are more easy. You can put them in the pocket, fly to Hong Kong or to Africa. You get everywhere the same amount of money.
That's a very, very good point. Well, thank you for your insight. This has been eye-opening. Yeah. We wish you the very, very best of luck with your new store.
Thank you.
All your information is going to be at the bottom of this video.
Yeah.
Check him out on Instagram and on YouTube. He's the greatest. Marc from Düsseldorf, Germany.
Thank you.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell. Do you know what we are?
In it to win it.
You got it, my friend. See you.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.